thechairshot.com. Always use your head.
The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
Warning. The Outsider's Edge contains strong opinions, unconventional views, and contrarian stances. Listen, if you dare.
Hey, yo!
Guerrilla tactics, it's time for warfare. Yo, we came to battle, yo, we aim to kill.
What's going on, everybody? Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing tonight? It is the next edition of The Outsider's Edge. Of course, it's your boy Rance, aka Ray Cash. I'm always here repping for the squad. I have with me tonight my golden lovers brethren, the Kota to my Kenny, Mr. Kyle Morris. What's happening, sir?
Hey, glad to be here. Shout out to our brother Karl. Hope that family stuff is going well. We love you, buddy. See you next time.
He'll be back next week. We got some big shit next week for y'all. Not just the Edge, but some social suplex shit coming for y'all. So he'll be back next week, hopefully for sure. But tonight, so look, the last time we talked to y'all, so much has happened since then. That like everybody decided to turn heel. James Ellsworth came out as a perv. Like everything has happened. We know we need to catch you up on a lot of this stuff, so we're gonna try to mix what we can into our preview for for Survivor Series and NXT Takeover War Games. This is a preview show, so that will be the basis of the show. But as we talk about the feuds and the matches, we will add in our thoughts on the happenings of the day. So
we'll give you our accurate insights on what's actually happening, because obviously the only people who know better than the Edge are the Tongans.
And all deference to the Tongans. All deference. Not just, maybe we need to stop saying just the Tongans. The Tongans and the rest of the Polynesians.
Yeah, we don't want no smoke with Oceania.
No, none of y'all. That expands to a little bit of Japan. That expands to Australia and New Zealand. Y'all got it.
Yep. You're from an Asian island. We're smarter than to pick a fight with you.
We know better. You can kill us in about 200 ways. But, I think, man, takeovers. I realize that New Japan is known for its quality in terms of big shows, and they have amazing quality. But from a stateside point of view, there's no show that can compare from just pure quality wrestling entertainment than a takeover. And this is the second edition of the Takeover War Games event. And here's with the okie doke this year. Normally, every takeover has 5 matches. We're having 4. We're gonna talk about the 5th match because it's gonna be taped before for the episode on Wednesday. And it's a big enough match for us to talk about. But Takeover War Games is going to be amazing. Before I even say anything, before we can go through the matches, what's your thought on Takeover? What's your thought on where NXT is? Like, what are you thinking?
I mean, sometimes I wish NXT had an extra hour because they've got so many people now. They're so stacked with talent, and they don't have enough time to highlight everybody. Mm-hmm. But Takeover always delivers. Always. You never have to worry about Takeover not delivering. People talk about how it's formulaic, and they're not wrong. There's a Takeover formula, for sure. But the formula works, and until the formula stops working, ride it.
Since Takeover Brooklyn, the original one with Bayley, Sasha, and Finn Owens in the ladder match, you can even go back to the Full Sail takeovers because they were great too. But I think that first Brooklyn show was kind of, as Triple H said, the dawning of a new era, so to speak. From that show on, I fail to remember a even mediocre takeover. They've all been great to excellent, and it's mind blowing to think that in this world, in the WWE world where story is king, entertainment is king, they can bridge the entertainment gap and they can bridge the story gap. and the actual in ring gap and make it work for everybody. That's hard to do.
It's amazing what happens when your creative team is made up of more wrestling personalities.
Well, yeah. Well, when you make sense, common sense will come, and then when you make sense things, when you sense, I can't think. I was gonna say something. Yeah, I was trying to
See,
make.
that's what you get for trying to be smart as shit.
I was trying to be Ray Sage instead of Ray Cash. This shit ain't working. Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, you're
It's
right,
too late for that, man.
man. Hell yeah, it's late as hell. It's been a long week. The kids are here and they running me ragged. So yeah. So we're gonna get to it. Like I said, I want to talk about the. I'm not even gonna call it the pre-show match, but it's the fifth Takeover match, not on Takeover. Matt Riddle, NXT's new toy, as Cassius Ono would have you believe, versus Cassius Ono. That is going to be like this has been in the works for 3, 4, 5 months. And Ono is motivated as hell because he probably really feels like, nowadays everybody want to talk, like got something to say, but nothing comes out. When you move your lips, just a bunch of gibberish. Everybody acts like they forgot about Ono.
Well, he's easy to forget about. They're so stacked with talent. Um, but if they're allowed to go out there and have a stiff match, this match gonna hit hard.
Jesus Christ, yes. And
If they take the leash off, these two are gonna beat the shit out of each other.
when you look at Matt, like you look at Cassius Ono, and you can tell like he's a big dude, calls us knockout artist. We know his history. And yes, I know Matt Riddle fought in the UFC, but when you see him in a wrestling capacity, this California stoner who wears flip flops to the ring, screams bro, gives you the hang ten sign all the time, uh, wears his wife's biker shorts, but then he's probably the hardest hitting dude in the business in most nights. It's a crazy dichotomy. So yeah, you're right. There that Jr. The phrase Jr. uses slobber knocker is so appropriate for this match.
Yeah, this one's gonna be a good one. Obviously, I got Matt Riddle winning this match.
I do too. Um, and even I would question it if it was on Takeover. They might try to pull a fast one on us. But this is for NXT TV. Absolutely, Matt Riddle's going over. But it's gonna be a hell of a match. Hell
Oh
of a
yeah,
match.
and just because I think he's going over in this particular match does not mean that I think that this is the last time he tangles with Ono, because I think this heel Ono is going to come back to haunt Matt Riddle later on.
Matt Riddle and maybe Keith Lee too.
I mean, he could be coming back to haunt a lot of people because, like, that's this new character that he's playing.
The gatekeeper, so to speak.
Yeah.
So let's get to the main show, and it's crazy that this is, so to speak, the undercard match. But Mr. Takeover himself, Johnny Gargano, and Mr. Aleister Black. So you guys know the feud, the Who Shot Aleister kind of storyline, who jumped him. Turned out to be Johnny Gargano. Gargano's kind of turned to the dark side. He was kind of consumed by his hatred for Ciampa and very truly became the Venom symbiote. Recipes to Stanley. But yeah, so and Alistair's pissed. Alistair's a force of nature when he's on his game. Johnny Gargano is
A 5-star match waiting to happen.
he's Mr. Five Star match in WWE, absolutely. So first and foremost, before I even ask about the match, over under for star ratings in this match, 4 and 3/4, over under.
I mean, I feel like the floor is a 4-star match, so I'm gonna say I'm gonna take the over just because I can't bet against them and take over, and I can't bet against them with the story that they've already got. This is the most, other than the War Games match itself, this is the most story-driven match on the card.
I mean, you say that, but Kyrie and
They,
and Shane have been going on
they've
how
had a
long?
long feud. They've had a long feud, but I'm talking about like an
Yeah,
actual story arc.
yeah. You're
And
right.
the way that this has naturally bridged off from the Gargano Ciampa story arc, how Gargano's heel turn has been necessitated by his obsession with Ciampa, and incorporating half the roster because of the investigation to who attacked Alistair and Nikki Cross, and now Candice is stuck between them. Like, all this different shit that's going on. This is the most story-driven match on the card.
So you said something, and you're right. NXT takeovers are proof when you have great creative writing by actual wrestling people, but the Ciampa Gargano story that meshes in with the Aleister Black story, which meshes in with the Gargano Black story, and everything in between, is proof that when you have Hollywood or TV writers that know wrestling and give a shit about doing it right, and this is how it works. Because this is straight off a TV show. All of that shit is straight off of. If wrestling was a TV show, and I realize it is, but you know what I mean. Like this, all of this I can see this on Young and the Restless in a, different format.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. If I were forced to pick a winner, I think I'm going to go with Alistair, but I also think that this is his swan song in NXT.
You think this is it? Well, at least
I think so.
You think he's called about the Survivor Series?
Yeah. It's call-up season because it's the after a big four. You never know. So I think that this is his. I think that this is his time, and I think that he'll probably end up on Raw because God knows they need people.
SmackDown needs faces.
SmackDown needs faces. This is true because everybody's turning heel over on SmackDown.
I mean, it's the thing to do. Hell, even the rumor is that because Brian wanted to turn heel, we'll get to that later on. They ex-nayed Shane turning heel because Brian wanted to turn. So, but yes, I agree with you, sir. I believe Aleister Black. It would be a bit of a disservice to the story. I'm not a good guy, but the good guy kind of has to get some comeuppance on this situation.
Yeah, he was taken out, and
months.
lost a title match. So, yeah, he kind of got to win here.
Yeah,
he's kind of got to win here.
Well, we mentioned it just a few minutes ago, but the women's title match is in a 2 out of 3 falls match. This match is particularly the reason why Riddle and Ono are on the pre-show, because they want to give this match time. And if you've watched any Kairi Sane Shayna Baszler match, they go at it, they have great chemistry, and they get time. I see this being like 40 minutes.
I mean, it'll probably be the longest match outside of the War Games match.
So, and we also have to mention that Marina Shafir, Mrs. Roger Strong, and
Hi, Roddy.
I was waiting on that. And Jessamine Duke, the other 4 horsewomen, are active and will be at ringside.
Yeah, I don't know who to pick on this match because I don't know what they're doing with Shayna.
After?
I don't know what the long goal is here.
Well, I can tell you this. This is the definitive last match in the feud.
Yes, that part is for sure. But I don't know if the long term is tying up loose ends for Shayna or if it's she's gonna be champ for a little while again.
So I struggle with this too. So let me tell you where I am in the middle. My head says Shayna will win because I don't see a title change this quick. She has the heaters ringside, and her holding that belt gives it a little more prestige than Kairi. My heart says Kairi for one reason. There's an undefeated woman who's a heel waiting to take that title, and I don't see a Shayna Baszler Bianca Belair feud.
No, but I mean, I'm here for anything involving Bianca. So,
Absolutely.
She is the EST of NXT.
She's the EST of WWE.
Shit, I'm right there with you. Other than my queen, Rebecca Lynch.
Well, we'll talk about the man in a little bit. So yeah, we gotta make a prediction.
All right, let's split it. Let's split the difference. You said I'll let you pick Shayna and I'll pick Kairi.
That works for me.
Boom.
That way, one of us is right.
One of us is right. Yep.
Okay. So this match is the least hype match of the card, and it can be on a card like this where War Games is a hook. But they really made it interesting.
Well, because
And
I mean, it's two of the most interesting people on the roster.
sure, but WWE has shown you can't just put two interesting people together and make magic. It has to have something behind it too. But what they've managed to accomplish and the build of the match and the aura of the match. Think about this: the Velveteen Dream is a guy who's predicated on being in the spotlight, right? He's a flashy showman, kind of in his own world, this, that, and the other, right? They're in LA, they're in Hollywood. Can you imagine the shenaniganry this motherfucker's gonna come do out with? What he's gonna come out wearing and the
I
entrance
was gonna
and
say I'm more interested in what he's gonna come out wearing because he doesn't. His entrance is so flashy on its own that he doesn't do a lot of special entrances. But I'm very interested to see what kind of airbrushing we got for this show.
his takeover clothing, um, the whole his picks are impeccable.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
yes. So Ciampa and Dream, man, like this ain't a dream match necessarily, but this, like I was against the idea of them together because it just didn't make sense to me. But watching NXT and seeing Dream kind of fully embrace the people's champ role he's kind of taking right now,
Hmm.
man, and Ciampa's the best heel in the business. I understand.
Absolutely.
I understand that there's a lot of great heels right now, but Ciampa is like the Godfather.
Oh yeah, no. Champa is that dude.
What you
No.
think of the feud, man? What you think of the feud and who you got?
I mean, I've enjoyed the feud because I'm real high on the Dream. You guys know that. Um, but I've really enjoyed the story that they told with like Dream earning the shot and like taking on Lars Sullivan and getting in Champa's head, which how crazy is that? Someone got in Champa's head. Um, but unfortunately, I don't see Dream winning the match because I mean Champa's Champa, and he's too hot, and I think that they're gonna probably take back Gargano Champa again at some point. So I'm gonna pick Champa.
Let me tell you why the Velveteen Dream will be the next NXT champion.
Oh, I mean, I would mark for the Velveteen Dream to be the next NXT champion. Like, I love me some Velveteen.
The only reason Ciampa would still stay champ was for that inevitable final Gargano Ciampa match, right? Ciampa's on the dark side. Gargano's on the dark side now. Ciampa has said, "Hey, let's reform DIY." Johnny Gargano, Johnny Gargano wasn't wrong, and he's bigging up his boy again. I think the dynamic of having Dream win the title and run with it for a few months and giving him that run of can he be? We know we know he's a huge entity. We know he has all the upside in the world. We know he can talk. We know he could keep your interest, and we know he can work. The one thing we haven't seen with Dream in a capacity in WWE is can he hold the top mantle of the brand? Can he be the guy? Right? We know that belt is supposed to represent who the guy is. I think this is their experiment for that, and I think that now that Ciampa Gargano is off the table for a while, maybe ever in NXT, because they'll eventually get called up inevitably, you can kind of rewrite history and make something even different, bigger going into Mania with Dream.
I mean, I'd be here for it. Like I said, I mark hard for the Velveteen Dream, so like I'm all about that. If they're gonna reform DIY, can they get called up because like some tag team dumpster fire going on at least one of these brands that we got to talk about later?
Oh, by the way, they're not reforming, but I'll tell you this: I want so badly to see one match. It could be a takeover, it could be a random NXT. Even if the match doesn't finish, I need to see Dream in Black versus Gargano Ciampa. Can you imagine the difference in the dichotomy between those two? Because remember,
Just
Black told Dream, "You got my respect. I said your name." So they don't got beef. They don't like each other, but they respect each other. Dream and then Gargano and Ciampa having a team with each other one more time.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Gargano's still on that I hate Ciampa shit. Like, man spat on his wedding ring and threw it into the crowd. It's hard to forgive that.
It's kind of hard, but then Triple H did try to murder uh, Stone Cold, and then like a few months later they were tag teaming. So
Well, I mean, Triple H also took a sledgehammer to Shawn Michaels' back, like when he came back from his injury. So, like,
that's true.
they're still besties.
That's true. Triple H has turned on Batista and their besties. He's turned
Undertaker set Kane on fire.
Yeah, good point.
Kane buried Undertaker alive
A few times.
twice.
Yeah, a few times. Yeah, yeah, good point.
Turning on your friends. It's the WWE way.
That's a good point. Yeah, no, you're right. Okay, so we've said all that to bring you to the marquee match of the evening, War Games. And it's a hell of a War Games. Oh my God, it's a hell of a War Games, and it's the more traditional style 4-on-4. Last year, and by the way, I was there last year. That's another reason, by the way, why I think Dream will win, because last year Andrade beat Drew when nobody expected that to happen. This is the perfect scenario for a title change because it's not the most important match on the card. It's almost the least important match on the card.
I mean, it's the forgotten match on the card.
Well, yeah, it is forgotten, but even though we know it, but it's just the other ones are just so fire. Um, but I was there last year for Authors of Pain and Roddy Strong versus Sanity versus the Undisputed Era. Fucking great match. They've upped the ante this year with Bobby Fish healthy, all strong four members of the Undisputed Era against the War Raiders, Pete Dunne, and the dude who's going to try to murder himself and everybody else all match Ricochet. He is going to jump off of everything alive.
I hope that they make more use this year of both rings. That is one thing I would like to see. If there is one criticism I could have from last year's version of the match, is that they didn't really utilize both rings effectively. And I'd like to see more interplay between that this year.
Well, they've had a full year to plan how
Yes.
they would be different.
Well, and all four members of Undisputed have been in the match now. So, like, they have that experience to go on. And, I mean, War Raiders, the former War Machine, they're fucking phenomenal tag team. You're very right to say that, like, yeah, Ricochet will try to kill himself. Fucking Hanson will leap off the top of that cage, and he will not give a fuck. He will launch a beautiful moonsault because Hanson has a beautiful moonsault.
Yeah.
And he will level everybody else in that match.
Yeah. I love the way they describe themselves. He's like, I'm the high flyer, Rowe is the power guy. I'm sorry, what?
Yep. Facts. All facts.
Yeah.
Hanson's big ass is nimble as fuck.
Yeah. And the forgotten guy of the four is Pete Dunne, who might be legitimately
a total package.
No, it's a total package. And I know I'm about to like say something maybe slightly blasphemous, but of the 8 men, Pete Dunne might be the best wrestler.
I'd buy that, yeah.
So
I think the next best is probably
Ricochet.
if we're just talking. No, I mean, if personally this is an aesthetic choice for me, but if we're just talking in ring itself, I'd go the next best would be O'Reilly.
Oh, Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle O'Reilly is fucking great. Like, great.
Well, I'll explain to you. It took me a while to get into him because his style is so different. But now that I'm into it, I love it. You might be right. Roddy Strong is tremendous in ring too.
Roddy's great.
And he's put together.
Honestly, of the Undisputed Era guys, he's the most interesting and he's the biggest star, but Cole's the worst wrestler.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, like of those guys, like they're all good, but Cole's the worst wrestler.
And he don't give a fuck because he gonna make you say baby.
Oh yeah, like he's the undisputed star, but at the same time, yeah.
So we know they're gonna try to kill each other.
Yep.
Who's gonna walk out of the cage?
Well, last year Undisputed Era won the cage, so this year I'm gonna say they lose.
I feel the same thing, but I guess the better question is, since we agree, the War Raiders, Ricochet, and Dunn will win the match. We agree on that. Who's gonna get the fall?
I think Bobby Fish takes the pin. I think either Ricochet or Pete Dunne get the pin.
I believe that Ricochet is gonna hit the 630 off the top, but it's gonna be Kyle O'Reilly.
Why O'Reilly? I think it's going to be Fish because I think eventually they're going to turn on Fish.
I
And they'll point to this as a reason why.
I agree with that notion, but I think that WWE needs to let people know that Fish is still a threat, and I don't think this is the match for him to kind of fail yet because he's been gone so long, and they got so much better when he was gone that's why if you so ever since he's come back, that's why he's had this vicious streak of just attacking people with chairs for no reason. He has to set himself apart. Like all three of the core guys since Fish has been out have their own personalities and their core things, right? Like we know Cole's the leader and he's flashy and this and that. Kyle O'Reilly is the idiot with the funny facial expressions, but he's the guy that can beat your ass in real life. Roddy Strong is gonna backbreaker you in hell, and he's like the jock who makes terrible jokes but backs it up. Like they all have a niche. Bobby doesn't. So I
Bobby's
feel
the dad. Duh.
well, we
He's
know
like
that, but
40.
you're right, yeah, legitimately. NXT fans don't know that, so I think they're going to set him apart with a vicious streak that might even be a little uncomfortable, and that's why I don't think he takes the fall in this match. Plus, right now, this is gonna sound crazy. Of the four members of Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly is the one guy who just can't be buried. Like you could do what he could lose every match for the next year, and he'll be in the same level.
Because O'Reilly's awesome.
That's what I'm saying. So he's not gonna get hurt by taking the fall.
The look on his face when they lose will be priceless.
Absolutely, 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 absolutely. Yeah, but oh my God, it's gonna be tremendous. Before we get out of NXT, two more questions. Who's gonna be sitting at ringside, if anybody, and are we gonna see any surprises during the show?
Who's gonna be sitting at ringside?
If anybody, doesn't have to be anybody. There might not be one.
Punishment Martinez at random point probably. They've done a couple videos about signing him. No, I don't think he's gonna debut or like anything like that. But yeah. Other than that, I can't remember who. Oh, Chelsea Green. I think she'll be at ringside during the women's match.
And man, this is gonna sound disrespectful. I don't mean it to be, but are they big enough for them to be noticed at ringside with that type of?
NXT's a smart crowd. No matter where you go, NXT's a smart crowd.
That's fair. That's fair. And I think Chelsea more than punishment, but yeah, I can see them both. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'm a little bummed that Chelsea is starting off as hot mess because the way she became hot mess was so entertaining and so integral to the story. But if she can pull it off, cool. But yeah, it might be. Any surprises in the show? Like anybody get jumped? Any stories? Like anything that you think is gonna happen in the show?
I don't think I can come up with any big surprises during the show. I think Candice might come out during the show and side with Johnny.
Oh, she's turned to the dark side too.
I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily a full blown turn, but like she gonna stand by her man
This isn't so much a surprise, but I think that Kyrie brings out Io Shirai with her to kind
as
of offset.
backup.
Yeah,
I
because
could see that.
Because the reason she lost the title, as great as Shayna is Jessamine Duke hit a beautiful pump kick right on time and kind of threw her off and put her in the Kirifuda. So she know, no matter how bad I am, it's 2 or 3 falls. I gotta have somebody to have my back.
Yeah.
Um, that might not be that's not a surprise, but you know, um, yeah, I guess that's about yeah. Okay, Takeover.
Yeah, it's be a good show.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be excellent. It's gonna be 4 hours, and I say four because the pre-show of pure, extreme, excellent wrestling. It's amazing. Um, before we go to the Sunday show, I think we need to take a break and talk about and play everybody's favorite game show. Watch Kyle Berry Ring of Honor. Doo, 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 boom boom. Doo, 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 boom boom.
So today's burial of Ring of Honor is inspired by a few things. First of all, there is that picture that Rance sent me earlier today. Ring of Honor is trying to put a show in Houston at the NRG Arena, and they ain't sold shit.
Let me give some specs because I know people are gonna want to know. The Energy Arena is not the Energy Stadium where the Texans play. It is a arena that probably holds 2,000 people on the premises. Okay, it's a nice size arena, but it's not the biggest. But it's a nice size arena, right? Number one. Number two, the show is January 25th, so there's that. But if this was Raw and there was that many seats open, and I'm talking Ticketmaster, not StubHub, like Ticketmaster, y'all a bitch. I just wanted to give that. Please continue, because I'm with you.
Um, then there's the fact that the Elite are leaving, y'all. They are getting the fuck out on this company. And when they leave this company, there will still be maybe 5 stars on that brand. Maybe.
5?
You got SCU.
Okay, so
You
that's
got
3.
you got SCU. You got Dalton Castle. You got
Taven.
Jay Lethal. Um,
Taven in the Kingdom.
Taven in the Kingdom and the Best Friends.
That's it. And Best Friends are kind of focusing more on New Japan than anything.
So yeah, they ain't got shit on that roster. That roster is weak sauce.
Oh, Flip.
Oh, Flip. Yeah, that's right. I forgot. Flip's not gonna leave with the Elite yet because he signed a 2-year deal and he's stuck there. And I kind of feel bad for you, Flip Gordon, because you are on a ship that is sinking fast.
Well, but he'll get the Jeff Jarrett role as the champ at the end. Oh, I'm sorry, not Jeff Jarrett. He'll get the Booker T role of finally getting the title because nobody else is there to get it. Book, I love you. I don't mean that as this.
Oh, I mean, you can mean it however you need to mean it. The fact of the matter is, this is a company that has all this false hope because they sold out Madison Square Garden the week of WrestleMania in a show that they are co-branding with New Japan,
Yes.
the hottest non-WWE company in North America right now.
Yes.
And
Okada,
because of that, they've
Naito.
got this like false sense of security when all of their biggest stars are either leaving or more affiliated with other shit right now than they are with Ring of Honor.
So
Harris.
I mentioned to Kyle that so the main event of Final Battle is going to be Cody versus Jay Lethal. Cody, who is a master manipulator, so you have to take what he says with a grain of salt, but has said very audibly on his Twitter page that my first match in Ring of Honor was with Jay Lethal. My last match in Ring of Honor will be with Jay Lethal. I'm taking the title to free agency. Okay, cool. Well, they just had a Survival of the Fittest tournament, right?
Yeah.
Who won?
Yeah. Well, that dastardly heel himself, the villain, Marty Scurll.
So the Survival of the Fittest tournament, the purpose of that is to do what now?
Sets a new #1 contender for the championship.
And Marty Scurll is a member of what group?
The Elite. The Elite.
Break it down. And the Elite, their contracts end when now?
Pretty sure the end of the year.
And Final Battle is at the end of the year, so that would mean that Marty Scurll is not going to get a title shot if he leaves.
Not unless not unless it's happening at one of their randomly unannounced pay-per-views on a Friday.
Which happens to be like every other week. So the point we're trying to make is, this has become a thing only because it's funny, but we have ammo every week. And again, I kind of feel like Jeff Daniels when he was playing on the newsroom and he was attacking Republicans. He had to keep reminding people, I'm a registered Republican. So this is me doing this because I'm getting enjoyment out of it. I have to. Kyle subscribes to Honor's Club. He is a Ring of Honor fan. So this isn't him burying it because he hates them. Like, I hate Impact. So anything I say about them is coming from a place of hatred. Kyle loves Ring of Honor.
I want them to be good, but they suck.
Thanks.
I want them to be good, but they suck.
Did you see the interview that the Sinclair CEO said about Ring of Honor? We have a nice little gym.
Motherfucker.
And then Joe Koff was like, we're better than a gym. We're a little bigger than that.
But are you? Are you?
So many of Ring of Honor's ills, not some, let me change that. A fair amount of Ring of Honor's ills aren't Ring of Honor's fault.
No, they're not. They're Sinclair's fault.
Yeah. So if
Sinclair's fault they got shit production values. It's Sinclair's fault that they're not on an actual fucking network. Because if Impact can maintain a fucking cable deal for this long, you can't tell me that Ring of Honor couldn't find some random ass bullshit channel to air their show at not midnight on Saturday.
Makes sense to me, yeah.
And I bet that network would even occasionally air commercials advertising the show.
Well, we don't know what that is. That doesn't exist at all. But very clearly, if the CEO of the company that owns your company admits he doesn't even think of you as an asset, then I think we understand why things are happening the way they're happening.
I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Your talent should not be able to market themselves better than you market them.
Hey, man, truer words have never been spoken. And that's not just for Ring of Honor. That's for every company.
Yeah, your talent should not know how to market better than you do. Your job as the company is to do the marketing.
And like I'll give respect to companies like GCW, who are a genuine indie.
I'm not talking about the companies where the entire company is 4 people.
Yeah, no, we're talking about corporately owned and branded companies.
Yeah, we say it all the time. Sinclair is $1 billion media conglomerate. They are second or third biggest media conglomerate in the country.
They own the most amount of television stations in the country.
Like, they have cash. Mm-hmm. There is no reason that the production values for Ring of Honor should still look so Bush League.
Hey, man, I'm with you.
Again, Impact is doing it better than you. Impact.
Look, I'm 100% with you, man. It doesn't make any sense. I wanted to give a little levity between the two shows, so we had time for this moment. And that has been watch Kyle bury Ring of Honor. I'm gonna get a drop for that.
Okay.
And put it in. That's gonna be a thing.
It's gonna be a thing.
So we have to speak about Survivor Series now.
We have to?
We have to. Survivor Series is gonna be fire. There's one match in that card that nobody gives a trash about. Nobody gives a shit about. Ends on the pre-show.
There's one match that I don't give a shit about, but I know I'm the only person who don't give a shit about it. So
yes, you are. Yes, I love that you can admit that.
I know that a lot of people are going to really care about that match when we get to talking about it, but I just am not here for it at all.
Well, hey man, that's what you have a podcast for. Bury it if you want to. That's what you have a podcast for. But I want to, before we can get there, I want to say this to these fans who like to talk a lot of trash about pay-per-view names and pay-per-view prestiges and legacies. And I remember that there was the Meltzer-esque reports that WWE was trying to phase out Survivor Series. They don't care about Survivor Series. Survivor Series has over the years, Survivor. Let's not forget, Survivor Series was the second pay-per-view they ever had. Right?
Yep.
It was WrestleMania and the Survivor Series, so it's
Yep.
very important in WWE lore. But on top of that, um, so many big things have happened at Survivor Series, not just historically, but recently. The Shield debuted there. Goldberg made his return and squashed Brock Lesnar. Um, the 2 years ago when we had the amazing 5-on-5. Like, there's been some really big things that have happened recently, right? So once again, we have another stacked Survivor Series card, and I realized that there wasn't enough time for the build. But
Which is just symptomatic of what we'd been talking about for a month
Mhm.
on the show, which is the problem of trying to promote 6 shows within a month of each other.
100%. I mean, going back to between SummerSlam to now, has been 6 pay-per-views, something like that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But I will say, if there was any show built to deal with this, it's this one because there's no build-up
Because it's the gimmick. Yeah,
It's
we
a
know it's
straight
the gimmick.
Yes, Raw versus SmackDown. So, like, understand the show's gonna be fire. The gimmick is fire. I understand people are literal, so it pisses them off when they say that the only time that Raw and SmackDown go head to head. So what? It's just a tagline. But I am excited. We're gonna pause that excitement as we talk about this pre-show bullshit. So, you have your token matches. You have your world title versus world title, mid card title versus mid card title, women's title versus women's title, tag title versus tag title, men's 5-on-5, women's 5-on-5, and then you got the tag team 5-on-5. Do I need to mention the tag teams involved?
We do, because we got to have a discussion about the state of tag team wrestling on the main roster.
Oh boy. Okay.
If you want, I'll do it. If you want, I'll do it. So, representing SmackDown.
Do Raw
We've
first,
got-
because SmackDown actually has legitimate tag
No,
teams.
but that's why I want to do SmackDown
Oh,
first.
yes sir. Got you.
Okay, so representing SmackDown, we've got the teams of Sanity, the Good Brothers, Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson, the New Day, the Usos, and those the Puerto Ricans that'll never get fired.
And who are great in the ring.
Yes, have no charisma, terrible gimmicks, but will never get fired because of the family legacy.
Yes.
Primo and Epico.
Yes.
But all 5 of those are established tag teams. With the exception of Sanity, all of those are tag teams who have won tag team titles within the last decade.
Numerous.
Multiple tag team titles.
Yes.
Within the last decade. The New Day and the Usos are 2 of the greatest tag teams this century, if not in the history of the company.
Business.
So that's the SmackDown 5. And those tag teams, to them I say, good day, sir. Respectability.
Tip of the hat.
Tip of the hat to you. Because with them in the bar, SmackDown has a legitimate tag team division.
2 hours of a legitimate tag team division, yes.
Yes. Meanwhile, on Monday Night Raw, we've got...
I feel like I should play what's the Benny Hill music? I feel like I need to play that while we're doing this.
Meanwhile, on Monday Night Raw, we've got the Lucha House Party.
AKA Lucha Booties.
We've got Chad Gable and Bobby Roode.
Who are the captains
of the team? We've got the B team.
Go, go, go.
We've got the Revival. And we've got the Ascension.
I would like to, before you say anything else, I'd like to mention that the most pushed team of the 5 recently has been the Ascension. Put that in perspective.
Y'all, on Monday Night Raw not too long ago, they had a battle royal involving all of the tag teams on the Raw division. And it was like a highlight of everything wrong with the state of tag team wrestling on Raw. The Raw tag team division gives dumpster fires a bad name. The Raw tag team division makes chugging Drano seem like a better alternative.
That's rough, but yes.
I feel like at this point, the best thing we could do to the Raw tag team division would be to bleach that shit and start from scratch.
God damn.
Because, with the exception of the Revival, just because I know how talented they are in the ring, and I think that if you got them a manager and gave them a better presentation, you could still do something with them. None of the rest of those tag teams are even remotely salvageable.
The Revival was salvageable.
No, I said with the exception of the Revival.
You did. I'm sorry. Yes, you did.
None of those other tag teams are salvageable. We can't salvage the B team anymore. You can't salvage Heath Slater and Rhino. You can't salvage the Ascension. Chad Gable and Bobby Roode aren't even a real tag team. And there's nothing redeemable at all about anything involving Kalisto.
Amen to that.
Like, the only tag team worth a shit on Monday Night Raw is AOP.
And I mean, Drew and Dolph are technically a tag team, but yes, the only
I
regular.
mean, you know that I throw all the shade Drew McIntyre's way.
Yes.
So I will admit my bias there. Everything I say about Drew McIntyre comes from a position of hate. I don't like Drew McIntyre at all. Never have no use for him.
Oh man, well then you're gonna love this 5-on-5 when we talk about it later. Can I throw some shade with you?
Yeah.
I would like to mention that the Raw Tag Team division was so bad, they called up a tag team from 205 Live. Advertised the call up. Now, mind you, Neville stayed at home for a year because they wouldn't let him wrestle on Raw. And he called the tag team up from 205 Live so they could have 5 tag teams. If that don't tell you where it's at.
If I'm Heath Slater, I'm so pissed right now because they would rather put the Lucha Booties in the tag match than let Heath Slater and Rhino get that shine.
I didn't even think about that. That's great.
Yo, Heath, I'm telling you, man, the secret is to get fired. Jinder got fired and became WWE champion. Drew got fired, and all of a sudden people like him and see something that I'm not seeing.
Hey, man.
So,
yeah.
Heath, you just got to get fired and then come back, and you'll be the Universal Champion in 6 months.
Well, to be fair, Kurt Hawkins got fired and they won a match since, so I don't know if that's such a good thing.
I was talking about the 3-man band, though.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, just Heath's luck. He will never get hired back. Oh.
Poor Heath.
Oh.
Poor Heath. Oh, God, the Raw Tag Team
We don't give a fuck.
so
I don't
bad.
give a fuck about this match, whatever.
I mean, if the SmackDown Tag Team division doesn't win this match, I'll be upset. But other than that, I don't care.
I do. Okay, if I could say one redeeming thing about this match, the promo the Usos cut to announce the other tag teams was fire. And that's
a great example of how you can cut a promo and get yourself over without having to shit on everybody else.
Not just, and that's, yes, absolutely. I also want to add to that point is a perfect example of how you can make sense tag teams that got beef with each other but come together for a common goal. Because that's been a lot of the problem people have with these matches is that because a lot of people who hate each other all of a sudden want to join together and the good of the brand. But the Usos and how they were talking, they had their promo and their penitentiary backstage area, it was fire. Loved it. The Usos, put them in the Hall of Fame right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Usos deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. They're amazing.
The Usos are one of the best in the business ever, like in the history of the business.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I wasn't joking when I said Usos and New Day are two of the best of the century, if not of all time.
I'm telling you, man, they're great. Yeah, we don't even have to predict this shit. Like SmackDown's winning. And SmackDown, I'll give a prediction though. Bobby Roode turns on Chad Gable.
I could buy it. Bobby Roode should turn heel because face Bobby Roode is ridiculous.
They know that. They know that enough that he went from being like one of the bigger stars on SmackDown to being the final guy to get called up to get moved in the Survivor in the what's it called the Showcase Showdown. What's it called?
Superstar Showdown?
That shit, yeah, the Superstar Shakeup, whatever, something with some alliteration with the S. That's WWE has a thing with alliterative S's. And from all that to like him and Jinder Mahal they've been like, we'll get to y'all when we get to y'all. So Bobby Roode is tag teaming with the guy who wasn't even on the show. They're going to show
But
you.
who should be? Because Chad Gable's great.
Chad Gable's great, man, but
You know, I don't wish 205 Live on most people, but I feel like that would be a step up for Chad from where he's at right now.
And see, I'm on the other side.
It needs to be utilized more often.
I agree, and he'd be great on 205 Live. I'm on the other side of that because you know how I feel about 205 Live. I feel like 205 Live is an unpolished gym that's waiting to make money for them. They just have to make the right decisions and put the right people and give it the right attention. Chad Gable going would be a guy who could help do part of that because he's amazing. Yeah, but just on the main like, remember when him and Jinder had a little mini feud for like 3 weeks, and he walked up on Jinder and like he looked like a child.
He's so short, and without he's got a lot of charisma. I don't mean he doesn't have charisma, but he doesn't have enough to make up for that lack of size.
He's mini Kurt Angle in every respect, but in not just in wrestling, but in personality because they have similar personalities. But the difference is Kurt's personality was so big that it was like out of this world big. Chad's just looks like, like corny dad, and it's not big enough. Um,
And he needs to cut his fucking hair.
he ain't gonna do that shit because
I know he's not gonna do that shit, but damn, he looks like a fucking douche.
Well, okay, I'll do this for you. How about this? Don't cut his hair, but sell the headbands with Gable on them.
Okay.
Somebody would buy that.
Yeah. Ready, willing, and Gable.
Ready, willing? Yeah. Well, I'm glad he got rid of that fucking towel. That was the shittiest. I hated that towel. And I fuck with towels. I like people with Taz, Samoa Joe, Shayna. I love people with towels, but that damn towel. If you have your towel monogrammed, you're a douche.
Yeah.
Just saying. Like
Yeah.
like the old story about JBL about why he started wearing the towel inside his jacket. He was working out and he saw a dude doing that. He instantly was pissed off because that's like the most douchiest shit ever. So he started doing it. That's the same thing with a monogram towel. It's just douchey.
Yeah. This is true. This is true.
Yeah. So now we have cleansed ourselves. This motherfucker said bleach the whole division.
Just bleach that shit. Break out the pine saw.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ, spring cleaning. Oh man.
Lemon pledge all the way.
I want to let it be known that was Kyle that said that. I didn't say it, although I support my brother.
That's all right. I stand by it. Fuck it.
I don't.
Revival and AOP and a bunch of geeks.
But that's WWE Tag Team Wrestling in the 2010s.
Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Yep.
We need to have a tag team. We need to have a tag team edition and just really break down what the fuck is up with tag teams and how we can fix it. That might be one of my next columns and my little series I'm doing. We might do that.
There you
go. Yeah. So let's get to the main card, man. And so like I said, we've cleansed ourselves. The main card's fire, and we're gonna start off with the one match that has nothing to do with not Ring of Honor, with Raw and SmackDown. And might be, for a lot of diehard fans, the one match that they know is going to deliver the most. The Cruiserweight Champion, Buddy Murphy, against who might be the hottest dude, keyword dude, in the entire company right now, Mustafa Ali, for the Cruiserweight title, man. If you've seen their prior matches, boy, let me tell you. So now they're on the main card of a Big Four pay-per-view. Yeah, they're about to do work.
It's going to be a great match. I know absolutely nothing about the story because I don't have time to watch 205 Live, so I have no idea. what the build is for the match. I know it'll be a great match because they're two amazing people in the ring with great chemistry together, and they're going to go all out with the probably 15 minutes that they get afforded. I think Buddy Murphy will probably win because they just gave him the title. So, and to my knowledge, this is one of his first defenses, so I think he'll probably pull out the win. But yeah, it'll be really good.
I think that I have Buddy Murphy losing, and most of you guys know Buddy's my guy. I was singing Buddy's praises when he was the headliner of the Largo Loop. Buddy's my guy. Um, but the Ali story is so fascinating because Ali has done this thing. First and foremost, Adil Alim, I think I said his name right. If I didn't, I apologize. Is shown himself to be one of the best humans walking the fucking earth. Mustafa Ali as a human being is amazing. The things he's doing, the stuff he's trying to represent and stand up for, like he's amazing. I think he's trying to paint um, Muslim people and Middle Eastern people in a better light than they've been looked at and all this. And if you know the story of how he started off as a heel because he had to be a heel because everybody thinks Middle Eastern guy heel. And but he wanted so hard to be a face because he wanted the people to like him and show he's different. Anyway, none of this matters in the moment right now, but I just want to say that that dude is amazing as a human. He's amazing in the ring, and the story of him going through. I mean, if you watch Sami Zayn's Road to Redemption in NXT, this times 10. He has beaten everybody. He's been beaten down. He's had to go through every big star. He got to the top of the top of the top at WrestleMania and lost to his best friend and was like, all right, cool, and picked himself back up by his bootstraps and started from the bottom again. I feel like he's going to win here to cement that final, to beating literally the guy they call the Juggernaut. And then Cedric Alexander is going to turn heel on him. And we head into Cedric Ali at WrestleMania again, only roles reversed. Ali coming as champ, Cedric as a heel. And I feel like it starts Sunday.
I mean, you know better than me because you watch 205. So, like, I will not dispute any of that. I will say that if they want Buddy Murphy to stop pretending to be a cruiserweight, I would welcome his fire-ass chemistry with everyone that he touches on the main roster.
Well, Buddy's definitely the one guy that can move up tomorrow and nobody will bat an eye because physically he matches.
Well, and because his whole story going into 205 was that he had to cut weight to become a cruiserweight. So, like, yeah, he can go to Raw where they need more mid-card talent, or he can go to SmackDown where they just need more talent in the singles ranks, period.
And if he goes to Raw, it'd be perfect because him and Alexa could be together more, and he could save his wife, he could save his fiance from Braun, because Braun is looking at her like a snack, and he needs to save his relationship.
Would you want to go toe-to-toe with Braun?
I don't want to go toe-to-toe with Buddy Murphy, and I'm bigger than him.
Yeah, but Braun.
So I'm saying if I don't want to go toe-to-toe with Buddy, I damn sure don't want to go toe-to-toe with Braun. I wouldn't fight Braun Strowman's beard.
No. Nope.
So prediction, sir. Who you got?
I told you I had Buddy.
Buddy, okay. Yes, and I have Mustafa Ali. I'm just
Yes.
reiterating for the people.
Yes, I got Buddy.
Okay. So let's talk the 5-on-5s and then we get to the title matches. Fair?
Oh, I thought we were gonna do them in order of importance.
Well, okay. Well, what match is next in your eyes? The tag team?
I mean, no, the least important match to me next to this is the mid-card titles because the U.S. title is less than nothing.
Okay, so I feel you, but the titles don't matter in this because the names alone this is a dream match. Do you not think so?
I mean, at this point, nothing Shinsuke does is a dream to me because to me Shinsuke is washed.
I don't think he's washed. I think he's
washed because he does, and that's why I think he's washed. He's washed because he doesn't care.
That's
and
fair.
if he doesn't care, he's going to phone it in. And if he's going to phone it in, then why should I care?
look, I'm 100% with that, but I said
I picked Seth to win that match.
well, I have Shinsuke winning because Ambrose is lurking, but I'm with you 100% in that the whole thought process about Shinsuke if he's not gonna yes, but Shinsuke is always up for big matches, and this is a match that he came here specifically for. He wanted this match.
How much time do you think they're gonna get?
20 minutes.
That's enough, I guess. Yeah, that's enough for them to have a good match.
Every it's a 4 hour card. 7 matches on the card. you know. So and very clearly the Lesnar match is gonna be like 5 minutes. We know that.
Hopefully, Jesus.
We know the men's 5-on-5 is gonna get about 45 minutes. Women's 5-on-5 is probably gonna get about 40 minutes, maybe 35. You know, entrances, backstage skits. I feel like every match is gonna get at least, except for the Lesnar match, is gonna get at least 10, 15.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I think they opened the show with this match right now since Shinsuke versus
Probably because Seth is so hot, like perfect for a hot opener for a show. But yeah, I'm gonna pick Seth, and then I think Dean will attack.
after the win.
Yes, I'm gonna pick Seth because in the next match, the tag team match, I'm picking the Bar.
Okay, so I'm the exact opposite. Well, we can move on to the next one because we can talk about them together. I'm gonna pick AOP Raw Tag Champs versus the Bar SmackDown Tag Team Champs. The kind of the interesting thing about this match is the Heat is at ringside. A.D.B. Drake Maverick against Hughes the Big Show. That's gonna be a sight to see because you know they're gonna do
Well,
something
the other
outside.
thing that's interesting is for a change, Sheamus and Cesaro are the small ones,
And they'll be the faces in this match.
more or less. Yeah.
AOP just can't be faces. They just can't. They're monsters. I'm can't is a tough word. More than likely they won't be. I'm picking AOP to win this match because some semblance of the Raw Tag Division has to show that they're competent.
Oh, see, I'm all in on the SmackDown burial of the division, but I mean, the reason I'm picking the Bar is because Sheamus and Cesaro's resumes as individuals are such, and as a team are such that I can't see AOP beating them yet.
Oh, it's gonna be shenanigan, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, even with shenaniganry, unless that shenaniganry is that Big Show's secretly not with them at all, um, I don't. See, I don't know. I picked the Bar.
I can see Drake doing some Leo Rush type stuff and that he gets himself sacrificed and tricks and not tricks but distracts Big Show and which ends up distracting Cesaro, Sheamus, and last chapter, some bullshit like that.
I wish the next chapter of his life would distract Big Show and that he would stop competing because he scares me when I see him walk or try to walk.
Dog,
He can't like bend his knees at all.
On SmackDown after he pinned was it Woods?
Yeah.
When he pinned Woods, he struggled for like 10 seconds to get up off the pin. And I was like, show.
Stop, dude. Just stop.
Now, I will say this. I don't mind him in the capacity he's in as long as he doesn't wrestle.
No, like I don't mind him when I say next chapter, like his next chapter could be as a manager, his next chapter could be as an agent, his next chapter could be as a booker. Like I'm not wishing for Big Show to go away, like go away Randy Orton, just go away. I'm
Who's
wishing
gonna play
for,
a part in the show later on?
I'm wishing for the Attitude Era people to stop doing this because it's getting sad.
I mean, I don't. It's not that I don't. It's not that I don't agree with you. I'm just not at the sad point yet.
For me, watching them physically is what's sad for me. It's not even so much about the in ring itself. It's like, gosh, I remember these people at the peak of their physical prowess, and
Right.
now they all remind me of Scott Hall.
No, and that's where I'm at. Like I understand that, and it's not that I disagree with that because I agree with that, but I also so Big Show's unique in that like we're not talking Taker who is putting himself through full on matches and is like getting like going through like full on brutal ass matches every time he wrestles. Like this show's doing like light work. I don't want him to do that either. But I just
Show is also, y'all, whether you want to admit it or not, Show is one of the greatest big men of all time.
amen to that. Amen. Yeah. He'll definitely He's already a spokesman now, but he'll definitely be a spokesman for the company.
Oh yeah,
I just
instant
yeah,
Hall of Famer.
I'm with you, man. I feel what you're saying. I would like Show to kind of just keep it out of the ring.
Yeah, just phase out your ring work, man. So you can stay in the product, you can stay on television, you can do all sorts of other shit involved with the company, but like never step foot in the ring competitively again.
So you have the Bar and
Yep.
Seth. I have Shinsuke and AOP.
Yes.
So what's next in your order of importance?
Now we can start talking about the 5-on-5s.
Okay, Women's 5-on-5 first. Cool with you?
Yeah, that's fine with me. That's fine with me.
Well, in one of the most iconic moments on not Raw history, but in Raw recent history.
And one of the
Uh,
most iconic moments in women's wrestling history.
well, the I wouldn't say the beatdown was. I would say everything Becky did. Yes, the rest of the roster wasn't much, but
No,
yes,
fuck that. I'm talking Becky's part in that whole
yes,
thing. That is one of the most iconic moments in women's wrestling.
100%, 100%. But yeah, SmackDown women jumped the Raw women, um, as um as Alexa, who is the manager of the group. You know, she's injured, concussion syndromes and whatnot, symptoms, but as she just announced the roster. And it was a fun beatdown. Becky did her thing. Becky killed it, but they kind of submitted themselves that they're ready to strike. Um, with Becky being hurt and Charlotte being off the team and being put in the Ronda Rousey match, they're one person short. So before we even talk about the match and we predict who's the fifth woman,
Shayna. That's who I want it to be. I don't actually think it's going to be Shayna Baszler. That's who I
that'd
want.
be amazing, wouldn't it be?
That is who I want it to be so badly. I've like thought it in my head already. I want Kyrie to win the 2 out of 3 falls match, and I want Paige to come out and talk about how Charlotte's going to be in that match, and so they needed a 5th woman, and so she went and she searched and she found a 5th woman, and then boom, Shayna comes, and the match ends with Shayna choking Nia's ass out. Because Nia's going to be the last person left on Raw because she's huge.
Nia's gonna be the first person eliminated.
I'm okay with that because I'm not like, I don't hate Nia Jax the way a lot of people do, even with what she did to Becky. But like, I don't really care about Nia.
But this is gonna be a little small punishment. It's not a big deal. Um, okay, so you wanted to be Shayna, but who do you think is gonna be?
Either Mandy or the other iconic. Either Mandy or Billy.
Nikki Cross, brother.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Nikki. I forgot she debuted recently. Okay, yeah, Nikki.
Nikki Cross. Um, Help me understand something.
Okay.
You don't watch Raw very much. You tried to, but you stopped since Lesnar came back.
Yeah, no, fuck that shit.
Understandably, I understand it. I'm never gonna stop watching, but I get
No,
the
I understand.
process. Um, so Alexa, who is willingly heel, picked an all heel team essentially, in Tamina and Nia, who are a tag team now. Mickey,
Can I just say that I forgot Tamina was apparently a Raw superstar?
well, she just came back from injury, so that's understandable. It's not like she's been around for 7, 8, 9 months on Raw. Like she's just been on like 3 episodes of Raw since Evolution, so it's okay. You, you're not you're okay for feeling that, for not knowing that. And Mickey James, who's Alexa's ace, she picked Natty, but then she had the match where Sasha had to fight Bailey to see who'd be the 5th member, and they jumped them both, beat the hell out of them, just to bring Ruby out and made Ruby the 5th person. But Ruby cracked Natty's daddy's glasses earlier in the night, which caused Natty to have a breakdown. So the question is, why is Natty even on the team when you just basically burying all the faces?
Why? a lot of things about what you just said.
Okay. Duly noted.
Like, the reason they had to jump zone Becky and Sasha is because if the SmackDown women are going to win this match, which is potentially what they're building towards, you can't have Nia and Bayley and Sasha all on that team because the star power doesn't line up.
I agree 100%. But I'm just thinking about the match and thinking about seeing Massive Hill, Nia Lynch, Nia Jax, Massive Hill, Tamina Snuka, Massive Hill, Ruby Riott, Massive Hill, Massive Hill, Mickey James, Massive Hill, Alexa Bliss on the outside, and Natty.
Natty's changed her character more than anybody, so it
She's
works.
a female Big Show.
Yep. I mean, the SmackDown team's all over the place. You got Superface Asuka and Superface Naomi, and then you've got heel-ish Sonya and super heel Peyton.
Peyton on the team.
I thought it was Peyton, not Billy.
Neither of the Iconics are on the team, I don't think.
I thought one of the Iconics was on the team. Then who the fuck is on the team? Sonya and Asuka and Naomi. Who else is on? Is it Lana? Please tell me it's not fucking Lana.
I don't think. I'm looking it up now. We should have had this information for you guys. We sorry.
So please tell me it's not Lana.
Survivor Series. Carmella,
Oh,
Naomi,
Carmella.
Sonya, and Asuka. Yeah.
Well, I guess Carmella's a face now, so
She's very clearly a face, and Sonya's turning face.
Sonya should be a face. Put your hair up and square up is a badass catchphrase.
It's a badass catchphrase, and her story, what she means for the LGBTQ.
I was gonna say she's such a great advocate for the community. I love me some Sonya.
Sonya's amazing, and ready-made feud with Mandy.
Well, and she's got enough of an MMA background that she's legit.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember, I thought that she would be Ronda's first feud.
Yeah, like Sonya's got enough of an MMA background that she is legit. If she continues to improve in the ring, which is another thing I like about Sonya, more so than Mandy, like of the girls that they brought in to be Paige's heavies, Sonya has continued to improve in the ring. Mandy continues to rely on being a hot piece of ass with porn music.
But that hot piece of ass with porn music really gets the job done.
I
know it does nothing for you.
We're looking for different things, man. We're looking for different things. If I have the choice between badass LGBT fighter and porn music, I'm gonna go with the badass LGBT fighter.
That's fair, but also in my defense, if I had the choice between Magic Mike-esque Tyler Bate and badass P Dunne, I'm rocking with P Dunne. So yeah.
I mean, you're entitled to your wrong opinion.
I mean, I get it. Yeah, I understand.
Different strokes, man. Different
strokes for different. I accept 100%. I accept it 100. Who you got?
I think the SmackDown women will win this match because they normally. I mean, realistically, we're gonna have split decisions because they normally are tied going into the 5-on-5.
Well, okay, so SmackDown wins. I agree. I have SmackDown winning too. Who's the sole survivors?
Well, if SmackDown's going to win, the survivors are going to be some combination of Asuka, Naomi, and whoever the fifth person is. It might only be two of them. If it's only one of them, then the sole survivor is obviously the Empress of Tomorrow.
I disagree with that. I think that is. They like to really mix things up in these Survivor Series matches. They like to do some surprises. Asuka's going to be one of the first eliminated. Not the first eliminated in the match, but one of the first match people eliminated. Naomi's going to be the sole survivor.
I mean, I'm on board with that. Naomi is a 2-time women's champion. Naomi is awesome. And Naomi is # relationship goals.
By the way, it might be Naomi and Nikki Cross together because if Nikki's debuting, she's not losing. Um, yeah, yes, and Naomi is relationship goals. Mind you, for those of you listening, I didn't ask who's gonna be the sole survivor of the tag team 5-on-5 because we don't give a fuck.
Nope, do not
Um,
care.
Shout out to the Usos though and New Day.
Yep, and the New Day. And the
Um,
Good Brothers, even. I'll give
shit,
them a shout out.
all the SmackDown tag teams really, and the
Yeah.
Revival. We're with you.
We're sorry. We're sorry,
We're with you.
Revival. We
Yes.
are.
Keep fighting the good fight.
Yep.
Well, it's time we got to move to the men's 5-on-5, and this is the most convoluted piece of stuff.
This fucking match.
It's gonna be great. It's still gonna be great, but it is
Yeah,
out
but
there.
like, damn.
So,
First
Daniel,
of all, go away, Shane McMahon.
did you read the story that before Daniel turned heel that the match was scheduled to be Daniel versus Shane at WrestleMania?
We dodged a bullet on that one.
They might just flip it. Shane is the best in the world, so don't forget that. So, oh boy,
Shane is trying to turn me against my beloved SmackDown.
hey, something's gonna do it eventually. So on the Raw side, we have Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, and Bobby Lashley with Baron Corbin as the captain.
So we've got Drew McIntyre and a bunch of glorified geeks and geeks to stars.
First and foremost, I will never call Braun Strowman a geek because he'll find it.
I will, because this motherfucker loses every big match.
Braun Strowman will find your ass in South Carolina. Good.
Braun Strowman is a jobber to the stars.
That was Kyle. I have your back on everything. You on your own on that one. You got to step out on faith on that one, homie.
Shit. Braun Strowman would break me in half with his pinky.
Yeah.
But his character has been destroyed. I can't take it seriously anymore.
I'm almost there. I'm not quite there yet, but I feel where you're coming from. I'm on the road to being there. Let's put it like that.
Braun Strowman should be better than this, but he's not now.
That's
Drew
another
McIntyre
conversation for
the
another
star
day.
of that team.
Yes,
Drew
absolutely.
McIntyre is the star of that team, and I hate to have to say that, but it's the fact.
And low key Finn, because Finn's gonna do the work. Finn and Dolph are gonna do the legwork.
Yeah, probably.
And on SmackDown side, you have the best in the world. Best in the world. Shane
On the
McMahon.
SmackDown side, we've got The Miz and a bunch of old folks.
I was about to say, well, shit, the Miz is old himself. The Miz is like 30 to 37, whatever he is.
Yeah, but like The Miz is at least a modern era star. I mean, like it's The Miz and a bunch of holdovers from the last two eras.
Shane McMahon, Rey Mysterio, Samoa Joe, and Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy replaced Daniel Bryan, who furthers your theory.
Yeah,
Yes.
So we've got Jeff Hardy, an Attitude Era holdover. We've got Samoa Joe, who's really from Jeff's generation of wrestlers. He just spent that career in TNA. We've got Rey Mysterio, whose career goes so far back. We're talking ECW, WCW star Rey Mysterio.
Mm-hmm.
And Shane ain't nothing too high for me to jump off of McMahon.
Cocaine Shane.
So it's Cocaine Shane. So it's The Miz and the old folks home versus Drew, Finn, and the geeks.
Oh, if you ever want your matches broken down on your podcast, call Kyle. He's available.
I mean that's why Raw's gonna win. Like, let's be real here. Yeah, SmackDown's team might have a bunch of Hall of Famers / future Hall of Famers because Jeff will be in the Hall of Fame, Ray will be in the Hall of Fame, Miz will be in the Hall of Fame.
All 5 of them will be.
Probably.
Shane is the best in the world. He's the first ballot Hall of Famer.
And eventually they're going to buy that tape library from Impact, so Samoa Joe will get in on those merits. But anyway, in spite of all of that, there's way more star power on the Raw side. Like, Braun may be a glorified geek, but Braun's still a bigger star than any of those motherfuckers right now.
No, you're right. I mean, if we're talking stars right now, I think Braun and Drew are the biggest, and then with Miz right in third. Um, if you're just listening of 1 to 10, I disagree with you, my brother. I think SmackDown sweeps all the 5-on-5s.
All right.
Let me tell you why. Ain't happened ever. Well, in a long time, if ever. And it's gonna further the raw turmoil of Corbin, Angle, who's the general manager, this and that, and they love that shit. I hate it, but they love that shit. Who's general manager today? It's like have you ever watched those episodes of Maury where you have the girl come in and she's been tested like 35 times and brought like 25 dudes on the show and none of them were the baby daddy?
I mean,
This is the general manager search on Raw.
yeah, but I mean, Raw hasn't had a consistent general manager since Eric Bischoff.
That's what I'm saying because they keep getting
That's been
tested
a
as the
Raw
baby.
trope.
They keep finding the chick. They keep thinking they got a baby with her. Turns out they're not the baby daddy. They dance off to the next guy comes in. This is
I mean,
just an episode of Maury.
that's been Raw's trope forever and a day. Like, I mean, shit, it was such a trope that they had the fucking anonymous general manager. Then they had the weekly guest, the
Yes.
guest host era. Like, Raw stay not having a general manager.
And Baron Corbin about to get fired and start wrestling again.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I know you. I knew you'd like that
Oof.
part.
Oof.
But I think SmackDown wins because
Of my least favorite person on the SmackDown roster?
Shane's not going to win. Miz is going to be the sole survivor, but I think Miz
No,
and
dude.
Shane.
You know who my least favorite person on the SmackDown roster is? Go away.
Oh no,
Just
Randy.
go away.
No. Randy Orton's going to be the reason Rey Mysterio gets eliminated. Randy's coming in and he's going to RKO Ray, probably off a springboard, and they'll pin Ray and Ray's gone. Like that's the feud going in for the next couple months. Those two. So no, he's gonna be he's gonna help Raw actually. Yes, I was thinking in the 5-on-5, so that's why I didn't think of Randy. Um, yeah, I think we're leading to a Miz Shane McMahon feud.
My point is, can we just get him the title already?
Well, when Daniel Bryan speaks,
Fuck Daniel Bryan.
apparently the waters just part.
Man, fuck Daniel Bryan. I don't understand why everybody loves Daniel Bryan so fucking much. I do not get it. I've never gotten it. I didn't get it back when the Yes movement was starting in 2012. I don't get it now.
So, well, okay, hold on. We'll talk about that in a minute because I do want to. I want to talk about that last. Or do you want to talk about the women's match last?
I want to talk about the women's match last because for me, the women's match, even with Becky's injury, is still the main event to me.
Okay, so yeah, I, you know, you know my history, but for those of you listening, some of you might not, a bunch of you do. A big part of my profile as a writer was built on the back of being the Daniel Bryan hater. And I never hated the guy personally. I mean, I hate.
Oh, I
Daniel
don't hate
Bryan.
him as a person. Like, I got
Right.
nothing against Bryan Danielson.
You got to say that shit, right? Yeah. Um, and I didn't even hate his. I didn't even hate him as a wrestler per se. I had never when I started not dissing him, but writing columns against him. I had never seen him work. My issue was I didn't like that people called him the best wrestler in the world when he's toiling away in Ring of Honor. The way I see it, no matter how good you are, if you're not in the best of the best, then you can't call yourself the best. That was my thought process. Like, I don't care how good some dude is hooping in the gym. If you're not doing it on the main stage in the NBA, you're not the best basketball player in the world. That's the way my mind works, right? Anyway, long story short, I grew to enjoy Daniel Bryan as I do now. I grew to like Daniel Bryan. I grew to actually care about the dude as a character and all this, that, and the other. I understood the purpose of the Yes movement. I got it. I understood why it was there, but it didn't do nothing for me. It did nothing for me. I'm a Reigns fan. I'm a Shield fan. It didn't do shit for me. So I'm with you. It don't do nothing for me. I understand it, but it does nothing for me. But I don't understand why people expected as soon as Daniel Bryan came back, he was cleared, which legitimately is one of the biggest shocks in wrestling history.
And great, and is wonderful. Like, hooray! I'm so glad that he's healthy enough to get back to something that he loves
Yes.
doing. Like, I support that. But Daniel Bryan is a cancer to SmackDown. Cancer.
Well, before we get to the cancer part, I don't understand why fans expected that he was gonna all of a sudden be the world champ immediately and be the top guy all over again. Like, you got to prove he can stay healthy. Because people legitimately have a problem with how he's been booked from late March to now. Well, he didn't sign a contract until 2 months ago, and he had to prove he could be healthy. But he's had every match he's wanted. He's wrestled Samoa Joe. He's wrestled Andrade Cien Almas. He's wrestled Shinsuke Nakamura. He wrestled AJ Styles numerous times. He's wrestled everybody he's wanted to wrestle. So now, and this is another thing that shows people think that Vince don't like Daniel. Daniel's being buried. That WWE doesn't care about Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan walked up to Vince and said, "I'm not going to Saudi Arabia because I don't believe in what they do." They didn't let him. They told him he doesn't have to go. And then 3 weeks later, he wins the championship on SmackDown. Daniel said, "I want to turn heel." What does they do? They turn him heel. But they don't like him. So now let's talk. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, oh yeah, no, that part, that's total bullshit. Like, the fans are just saying shit because they don't like the way that it's going.
Well, and we have to point that out before we even get to the cancer part, because again, people are going to take their assumptions and shit like that. But we need to point these things out in factual evidence of the truth. Now, explain why you say Daniel Bryan is a cancer, because you know I agree.
Daniel Bryan is a cancer to SmackDown because Daniel Bryan, no matter what you try to do with Daniel Bryan, they make him the focus of the show, and it takes away from everything else going on. Part of the problem with AJ Styles' title reign is that AJ Styles was never the star of SmackDown.
Hmm.
It was all on Miz versus Daniel Bryan. And I mean, I mark hard for The Miz. I love The Miz. I'm not upset that The Miz is a focal point of that show, because The Miz should be a focal point of that show because The Miz is a fucking star. But Daniel Bryan looms so large over everybody else on that show that it made it impossible for them to push anything else. And so for that reason, Daniel Bryan was a cancer to the top of the SmackDown card. And for all the people complaining about AJ Styles being a mid-card WWE champion, blame your boy Daniel Bryan. Because your boy Daniel Bryan was out here putting AJ in his fucking shadow.
The top feud of SmackDown for a good portion of the year is for the end of last year, beginning of this year, was Kevin and Sammy versus Bryan and Shane. That was the main feud of the show, of the company. AJ won the title in November. Bryan Bryan jumped into that feud around November-ish until Mania. So going into Mania, the dream match of all dream matches, right? AJ Shinsuke in WWE at WrestleMania, right?
Overshadowed by Bryan and Shane versus KO and Sammy. Then, as soon as that's over, they do the Superstar Shakeup, and now we launch into. First, they do Bryan versus Big Cass. That got some time, but I don't even remember what AJ was even fucking doing at that point.
He was
That's
getting kicked
how.
in the dick,
There we go. That was Dick Kick Saga.
which apparently, I feel like you know how the story of Achilles, Mr.
Mhm.
History Teacher, how he was perfect except for his
Yep.
Achilles tendon.
Yep.
AJ's perfect in every way except for his balls.
Yep. Gets kicked in the dick all the fucking time. So then, as soon as that's over, we launched into the Bryan Miz feud, and that overshadowed AJ. So AJ is a mid card champion because of Daniel Bryan.
Facts only, brother. You're speaking with absolute truth.
And so, the one good thing about Daniel Bryan now being WWE champion is at least that shadow that he casts over the rest of the show is warranted because he's the champ.
And so let me touch on this. I need to full disclosure. I am a guy who loves heel wrestling. I have never been a fan of faces. I find most faces to be repulsive and boring.
Especially
I've
face Daniel because he's corny as shit.
well, yeah, but I mean, I don't.
I've always preferred no Daniel to yes Daniel.
Well, I hate the underdog trope. I can't stand it. I hate the underdog trope. I hate it with a passion. But again, I'm one person. I'm always been the guy who understands why things happen and accepts why, right? But so there's this thing apparently where the heel turn seems to be chic right now, right? Gargano turned heel, Becky turned heel. Um,
Becky turned interesting and amazing, and Becky is wonderful.
well, call a spade a spade. Becky first turned heel, then turned amazing.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just
Call a
saying.
spade a spade.
I'm just saying.
Yes. And now Brian. I feel like I'm missing another person too, but yeah. But I want to say this, that everybody who's turned recently, this isn't a people want to say that WWE sucks and they don't know what they want to do and their writing team sucks and their writing team does deserve a fair amount of criticism very often. But number one, Daniel Bryan went to Vince directly and asked for this. So if you hate the move, then once again hate your boy Bryan because he chose to do this. This was his choice. But number two, you have to understand that everybody that's turned heel in this past few months, right? They've been Dean Ambrose is the other. They've essentially been career faces,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Ambrose has been a face since 2014.
yeah,
Becky's been a face since she stopped doing the Irish jig at that takeover. Literally,
yeah.
right? Brian's been
Becky
a
was a
face since,
perpetual face.
yes. Brian's been a face since Team Hell No.
But Rance, these are faces I like to cheer for. How could WWE turn them? It makes me feel sad.
Well, this is my response to you, young strapping IWCer. If you want them to give a fuck about who you want to cheer, then stop cheering who you want.
But Rance, they told me that I was part of the show and that I'm supposed to cheer for who I want to.
You are part of the show, and they got the right to be. They are the show, so they got the right to do what they want and make money. By the way, Mr. Young strapping IWCer, remember when you were complaining to me a few weeks ago about Becky Lynch, and now she's the biggest star in the company that you say?
But Rance, why are you making me think about things that I said? I'm
Oh,
supposed to change my mind.
I'm sorry for living in the real world. I apologize. I forgot this is Twitter, social media. Things don't matter.
Yeah, y'all, we got the receipts.
The facts are there, brother. I'm telling you, I don't have the best memory, but I remember when people disagree with me, and I know I'm right. Like I'm not the arrogant guy who's gonna tell you I know I'm right, but if I believe I'm right, I'm gonna fight for it until you prove me wrong. Like there were not many podcasts out here saying that wait for Becky, wait for this, wait for that. You know who was?
The outsider's edge, bitches.
I tell you, man. So Brian as a heel, and have y'all watched American Dragon, Brian?
Again, heel Brian is more interesting. The only thing about heel Brian that upsets me, the only thing about the entire situation that genuinely upsets me is a personal thing. I am Team Miz, and I wanted Mike Mizanin to have that fucking title before Brian did. And I know that's a personal thing, and that's
Sure.
just me.
And I agree with that. And I feel like I don't want to call it a lifetime achievement award like Mark Henry got or Kane got. I don't want to call it that because Mike is still in his prime. But for what Mike's gone through and done the past few years, I feel like he deserved it before Brian. But if nothing else, this proves one concrete thing. The Miz has always been telling the truth. We told you Daniel Bryan
We've
was the
been
heel the
telling you
entire
for
time.
months, y'all, that The Miz was the face. We've been telling y'all for months that The Miz was the face.
They're gonna learn to start listening to us, Kyle.
How long? The entire time we're like, y'all, The Miz is the face here, with the exception of throwing the fake baby.
Yeah, that was a heel move.
With the exception of that, the entire time we were telling y'all, Miz is just out here trying to promote his show, and that dastardly Daniel Bryan keeps showing up, just attacking motherfuckers for no apparent reason.
And in defense of the fake baby moment, Bryan came out there to fight that man while he was holding his baby.
Yeah.
So that was actually
this
a
man
smart
came
move.
out here to attack someone holding a baby.
So in hindsight, that was smart to have a fake one.
You know, we've been telling them, the Miz is the face, Daniel Bryan's the heel. They don't want to listen.
Hey, you wanna know what the best part about this conversation is?
We're still not talking about the shitty match that we don't care about?
No. That we've talked maybe 10 minutes about Daniel Bryan, and he's gonna get squashed in 5.
X. Here's the question. I'm gonna give you an over/under. The over/under on F5s is 3.
2.
2? Under?
For 2 reasons. Number 1, Vince is gonna be like, don't kill him.
Oh no, I think he's gonna do F5s instead of Germans for that reason. Because I think that Brock, if he does too many Germans, will ragdoll Daniel by accident.
Like he did Sunil Singh.
Yes, because Daniel's gonna leap to sell that shit.
Yeah.
And with the neck head injuries, I think they're gonna lean more F5s than Germans. But I mean, it's a Brock Lesnar match, so we know that those are the only 2 moves that he's gonna use.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Yeah, I can't remember last time I saw him use a regular move. But
You know who I feel bad for, though? You know who I feel bad for?
AJ.
Fans who didn't get to see him in 2002 who don't know that Brock knows how to do a lot of fucking moves.
Oh, I don't know that
Brock
Brock
Lesnar used to do a shooting star press, y'all.
So basically, you're saying the people who don't know that Brock Lesnar is one of the 5 best wrestlers in the world when he gives a shit about wrestling?
Yes, and the reason that the rest of us hate Brock Lesnar so much is because Brock Lesnar should be one of the best wrestlers in the world, but he hates it so much that he's not.
I love seeing, I love the moments when you see Brock is into it. Like Monday, he was into it because at the beginning when Paul was talking, you saw him look at his arm and say, "Ooh, I got goosebumps." Like he was into it Monday. So, and then Sunday might show up and I give a fuck. But I think my second reason why I think that it won't be too bad is because I truly believe he respects Daniel Bryan. I believe that in my soul.
Brock respects anyone that makes money, and he knows that Daniel Bryan's a moneymaker.
Well, not just, yes, that's a good point, but I feel like there's not many people that he'll respect as a person. Bryan is such a good dude that even the devil himself will be like, yeah, he's alright. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So.
And here's why I don't feel bad for AJ. Number 1, AJ deserves a day off.
Fair enough. Even though it's a big 4, that's a hell of a day off to take.
Yeah, it is, but AJ held that title for over a year, and AJ Okada'd that title. He held it for so long that we turned on it.
Yeah.
And we like AJ, just like we like Okada.
Yeah.
But by the end of that title reign, we were just like, motherfucker, drop that belt. I don't give a shit who you drop that belt to, but get that belt off your ass.
Yeah. So you're telling me that AJ's gonna start coming out with his hair dyed and singing Scooby-Doo-Doo?
Yo, man, AJ might do that shit. I mean, AJ's corny enough that anything his dad ass did wouldn't surprise me. He could drive a fucking minivan to the ring next week, and I wouldn't be shocked.
That's a real storyline, yo. For the biggest star of the second biggest company in the world. The biggest star, the guy who was called the Rainmaker, because he made the company so much money. His biggest storyline of the year was he lost his mind because he lost the title. He had a midlife crisis and started coming out with balloons screaming Scooby-Dooby-Doo. That's a real thing.
Yeah, and then the Switchblade destroyed Chaos.
But he brought back Okada, though.
This is true.
God, I can't wait for Switchblade versus Okada. I'm hype. Let me say something.
I care way more about that match than I care about the one we just discussed.
I agree with, the 2 people in the match don't care. Well, no, Bryan cares. Bryan, this is his dream match. But yeah, I'm with you 1%. I can't wait for Wrestle Kingdom. Only because they have fused. I watch it every year. I buy it every year. I subscribe to the network every year for Wrestle Kingdom. But for the first time since I've watched, they have fused that not just I'm watching because I want to watch. They have fused that have reined me in, the casual Western viewer.
They've got some good feuds for this year's Wrestle
Some
Kingdom.
amazing feuds, dog.
You know what else was his amazing feud? One of the best feuds of 2018, and they
Boy,
haven't even had a fucking match.
you better segue that shit, boy. I see you. I see you.
The best feud of the second half of 2018 isn't even going to get a match this week because one of the participants is hurt. But y'all, Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch is the greatest thing that we never knew we needed.
Amen to that. We did not know we needed that, but yes.
We didn't know how much we were going to love this shit until the man came around. Like, I hate that she was, like, I hate that the bloodied face was because she had a fractured face and is so severely concussed, but that image is so iconic. I will forever associate Becky Lynch with that for the rest of her career. With that the bleeding face standing in the top of the crowd. This is my show now.
So can we call? So people have been trying. This has been pissing me off to my soul. Cause okay, so let's keep it 100, right? Earlier this week, when I texted you about this show, and in our group with Karl and Ricky and Clive, I told you that I had my contrarian senses were tingling.
Yeah.
I was prepared to come here and not bury Becky, but I had some issues involving Becky, not her. She's flawless. Nothing about her. Everything she's doing, saying, everything is flawless. I didn't like the hot on your blankie line. That's one line out of a million that she fucked up on. Okay, no big deal. She's flawless. I don't like that. Number one, my eyes are still rolling because here on the edge, me, Kyle, and Karl tried to tell you, wait for Becky, wait for it to work. It's gonna work. Y'all hated us, now y'all love it. That annoys the fuck out of me because now you want to like it. Number two, it annoys me personally that nobody gave a fuck about Becky 3 months ago, but now y'all want to say she's the best thing in wrestling. Okay, cool, I can accept that. But number three, please, for God's sakes, and shout out to my boy Ricky, for Allah's sakes, stop fucking comparing her to Stone Cold Steve Austin. It makes me want to pull my hair out, dog. I fucking can't stand it. I can't, like, she's over.
Totally different thing.
She's over and she's great, but why can't people be who they are?
Y'all, comparing eras is the dumbest thing. Like, we've got to stop comparing eras in not just wrestling, in general. Like, when people talk about like LeBron versus Michael, two different eras, yo. Two different eras, two different styles of play, two different ways of doing the game. Austin came up in the Attitude Era. That's a different game. That's a different time. Not to mention, just because Becky's a woman and because of what she means to women's wrestling right now, we're talking a totally different level.
Everything's different.
Because Becky is so hot, and that angle on Raw went over so well that her getting hurt has flipped their script so much that now that's looking like the WrestleMania
main event.
Main event, y'all. Like, they
show.
Changed their minds about Charlotte versus Ronda and are hot-shotting that to Sunday because Becky Lynch has become so hot and so on fire, and her versus Ronda has become so money that now they want that to close WrestleMania. That's crazy.
I can't think of a recent time where something so improbable has happened. Like,
and so organic. Like, that's what I love
organic.
about it. It's so organic. You know, because the one defense I will give to the shitty fans who didn't care about Becky and now they do, the one thing I will give them is that the story they've told with Becky has been a great slow burn all year long with good crescendos. She had to go through the redemption, and she had to beat every woman on the roster to get the title shot. And she had to go through that triple threat, and then she loses, and she snaps. and then she has to go through the thing with Charlotte, and she, starts off calling herself the man to get to Charlotte, to like take the pot shot at Rick. To beat a man, you got to beat the man, and starts talking about how she's the man, and now she is the fucking man.
Goddamn right.
Uh,
Can I? Go ahead. No,
I was
please.
gonna say, and she's made herself legitimately believable from a kayfabe point of view versus Ronda.
Now that's the trick. We know
By
Ronda
the
will be
way,
that in real life.
By the way, fuck all of y'all talking about, well, if it were a real fight, we know who would. Yeah, we do know who would win because Ronda Rousey's one of the 4 or 5 toughest women in the fucking world. Yeah, we know that. This is fucking wrestling. Kayfabe still exists, damn it.
Sure, but Ronda's bringing up real fighting too, and this is people trying to. Ronda's getting washed with Becky. Becky's spitting like legendary lines.
Becky is torching her ass on social media.
Right.
Torching.
So that's legitimately when it comes down to the match. If you're on Ronda's side, you got to say, well, yeah, I get that, but Ronda can really beat her ass. Like I get it.
The only shade I'm gonna throw at Ronda in this whole thing, and I would throw shade whether it was Ronda or anybody else.
I know what you're gonna do, and
Millennial bashing is so old, especially a millennial bashing other millennials. Because homegirl a millennial, y'all. We are all millennials now.
I get that, yes. So let me defend that very slightly. Like y'all can't see me, but if Kyle can see how small.
Teeny tiny fingers.
Yes.
Yeah.
What she meant is simply this. Becky is walking around almost maniacally thinking that she's the baddest person ever. And in the moment, she's probably the baddest right now. Give her that all day long. What Ronda's saying is, I've had to work my entire life. And not that you haven't, but my mom will wake me up in the middle of the night at 5 years old and put me in an armbar. My mom will wake me up in the middle of the night at 7 years old and put me in a chokehold. This is how I grew up. I grew up fighting for my life, right? I've gone through every single thing fighting for my life. So when you were figuring out your life, flying around the world trying to figure out what you wanted to do, I was being put in arm bars and chokeholds. When you were flight attending, I was doing this, I was doing that. So when you're here and you're great and you did your job, but you didn't do well, and you rested on your laurels for so long because you were popular. And now that you decided to put it together, you want to act like none of that matters. You're great now. When I've been busting my ass this entire time, that's what she was trying to say.
Can I say though that even saying that, I think all that does to the modern audience is endear Becky more to the crowd because it's more relatable.
Sure.
Because Becky's route is more relatable. It's more relatable to think, you're right, I wasn't trained for this my whole life. I had to figure my shit out, and I had to decide what I was going to do, and I had to find that training, and I had to go through it, and I had to bust my chops on the scene, and blah, blah, blah. I wasn't honed for this from day one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like everybody else. I think in the end, that just endears Becky more than it does alienate her.
Much like the Charlotte feud, it's all a situation about. It's not about necessarily what you say. It's the actions.
And I think that is the one part of the Austin Becky comparison that's fair. The only part of that comparison that's fair is that they both embody this everyman persona that people relate to.
I gotta think about that because I don't know. I don't see Becky in that light. I don't see Becky in that light. I don't see her as an everyman. I see Becky as a person because she's not even building up her everyman status. She's just talking a lot of shit and kicking a lot of ass. Like, like Austin literally had to fight the boss to get anything he wanted. Becky just fought her best friend because she couldn't beat her and jumped her ass every week. Like, so I don't see an everyman persona with Becky, even though in real life she is like Rebecca Knox is a everyman, absolutely. But Becky Lynch is just a character who finally figured it out and is now at the top of it. Becky Lynch is doing Conor McGregor cosplay.
Hey, I mean, there are worse people to cosplay.
I'm saying, look,
In professional wrestling, there are way worse people to cosplay because Conor McGregor built his entire persona based off professional fucking wrestling.
Vince McMahon in particular.
Yeah, so there are way worse people to be cosplaying. And that Irish accent makes her so much more badass.
You took it out of my mouth. I was just about to say that. It's something about the Irish accent and the way they move that just seems badass.
So badass. Because Finn's got that same swag about him. It's something about being Irish. You just got this like big dick walk.
You know who doesn't have it? Jordan Devlin. Sorry, guy. Sorry, Clive, because Clive loves to do it. But Becky's awesome. I just, slow your roll. And then this is gonna be this is gonna sound a little hating, but it's not. Becky's hot, but Becky's not super over. Like people acting like she's the biggest thing in wrestling right now. She's the hottest thing in wrestling right now, but she ain't getting that biggest cheers yet. That's still building.
It's getting there though.
And it's well deserved. And I know it's gonna sound like hating.
I think the injury could be beneficial because like,
oh my god, yeah, she's gonna have Triple H moments when she comes back.
Well, that's what I'm saying. She got hurt hot, getting a bigger following, and she's hurt in such a way that she can still be around doing the thing that people loved about her the most. She can still be there talking a lot of shit.
I would keep her off until the Rumble. And have her come back and just destroy. I'd have them take the title away.
I was gonna say, so we're gonna have her take the title away and have her come back for the title she never lost.
No, she's going for Ronda.
Well, I mean, she's going for Ronda, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I never lost my title. I had it taken from me.
Yes.
So after I'm done breaking Nia Jax's arm, I'm gonna fuck you up.
And I think the hug. Well, let's talk about this real quick before we get.
The hug bothered me a little bit in the moment. It really did in the moment because little things like that do bother me in the moment.
But
long term, if she's going to be kept away for a while and if she's coming back to take on Ronda in WrestleMania and she's going to be going to Raw as a like, all right, the beef is squashed. I beat your ass and proved my point and now I'm out. I buy it.
So let me tell you why it made sense to me in the moment. And you get it. So, but in the moment, it made sense to me because of this one reason. We know how hard Becky's worked to get to this moment. The entire reason she turned heel on Charlotte was because she worked her ass off to get the things that everybody else was given, right? It's the entire reason she turned heel on Charlotte. And she finally got there, and she was the biggest thing in her sport, right? Especially from her gender's perspective, but damn near the whole sport. And she got here. And she got one over on the baddest woman on the planet. And she was the most talked about person in wrestling. And she loses it because she got hurt off of essentially a sucker punch. In that moment, she just wanted to finish the fight. And if she can't finish the fight, she picked the one person she knew could finish the fight, which is Charlotte. And that hug wasn't an acknowledgement of, I love you, we're friends again. That hug was an acknowledgement of, me and you have beat the hell out of each other, and you're the only person I trust to do this. So this is we're gonna squash the beef for a second, so I can live vicariously through you while you beat her ass. I don't think it meant anything else more than that. I don't think it meant that they're friends, that they're cool, the beef is squashed. It's, look, me and you, we're here right now for this 1 second, so you can do this for me, since I can't. And if you watch the little six-minute clip that YouTube released of her like following her that day, she said the exact same thing.
All right. I mean, like I said, it bothered me way more in the moment than it does reflexively a few days later thinking about it, especially because she will be out for a while. And I do agree she'll come back at the Rumble and probably win the Rumble. And that's the perfect way to set up changing shows and moving on from there. As far as who wins Charlotte versus Ronda, I mean, Ronda's going to win, but it's going to be a great match. Ronda's going to win, but it's going to be a great fucking match.
I agree, and that's going to be the one.
I hope it's still the main event. I really do.
It
It
probably will
won't be, but I hope it's the main event.
It might. Well, the five. Yeah, it might be the 5-on-5. Actually, now you speak. Said you say that. The 5-on-5 usually ends unless it's something special like Goldberg, Lesnar, or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're probably right. But that's the reason why I think SmackDown will win the 5-on-5s, but Raw, with the exception of Shinsuke, will win the title matches, and Corbin can at least say, "Well, my champions are better," except for that stupid Seth. Um, yeah, man, I'm hyped, man. It's gonna be some good ass wrestling, and look, I understand that the sudden title change with Bryan and the sudden losing of Becky Lynch to injury is a huge bummer. I get it. But understand that our consolation prize is Brock Lesnar and Daniel Bryan and the main event of WrestleMania 35. These are our consolation prizes.
The title change shouldn't shock people that much, though, because,
It happened last year.
yeah, exact same thing happened last year.
Yeah, but there's
Totally different circumstances.
Yes.
Like, last year's title change was predicated on Brock did not respect Jinder. Brock does respect AJ.
Yes. Absolutely.
This, it was just time for AJ to drop the title.
Yeah, I agree. And
where does AJ go? That's the more interesting question. Like, because AJ has not been away from a belt for like well over 2 years now.
Yeah. In the short term, no idea.
In the long term, he's going to Raw.
Yes. Absolutely. He's
in the long term, that's the plan.
In fact, I think he might even win the Rumble and go after Brock. I can see AJ and Brock at WrestleMania 35. I can see that. That's not my prediction, but I can see it. But in the meantime, we're definitely gonna have AJ versus Bryan at least through the end of the year. They'll have a rematch at TLC, and probably a ladder match or some shit. Oh God, Daniel Bryan in a ladder match. Thought about that. No.
Yeah, let's not put Daniel Bryan in a ladder match.
No, they will.
Let's put Daniel in a tables match so that he only has to potentially take one really crazy bump.
Yeah, but Bryan's gonna win, so he doesn't have to take a crazy bump.
Yeah, so let's put Daniel in the tables match.
Yeah. I just scared myself.
Yeah, I really don't want him in a ladder. I really don't want him tempted to jump off of it.
Well, but remember the last vision we have of Daniel Bryan on the ladder, him and Dolph Ziggler decided to be idiots and just headbutt the shit out of each other for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, so let's not tempt him on that.
He's proven that he's very clearly a guy that needs to be protected from himself.
Yes.
So yeah. I got some wrestling news. If you
I love wrestling news.
Report: Shane Strickland will leave MLW next month. Is WWE next? If NXT gets swerved, boy, let me tell you, that's a big step.
NXT's got so many people. They're gonna have to do some call-ups soon just to clear the room.
Sure,
I'm with you on being against call-ups for no reason or for the sake of calling people up and not having a plan for what to do with them.
That's my fear.
I'm with you there. But if they're not gonna either give NXT an extra hour or do something else to like thin the herd, they're going to have to call some people up because they've got too many bodies.
Well, see, so here's the positive thing about what they're doing. And this is probably why they feel like they can get away with it for now. They essentially run 3 loops. They run the main roster. They run the main loop with the main guys who go to the different cities.
The Largo.
They run the Largo loop for the lesser guys who are still learning and like a couple of decent name guys, and then they have another loop that they run, which is a little higher level, right? So like you have guys like Stacey Irvin Jr., the kid they signed a couple months ago, who's gonna be in the Largo loop learning, but you got a guy like Brennan Williams and like
or
Buddy
like
Murphy.
Dijak.
Yeah, Dijak, who's on the other loop, right? So they're working, they're getting exposure. Now, my argument when the last time we had this conversation is this: they need to call guys up. You're absolutely right. But if we're talking about not guys that they've just recently signed, like indie guys like Punishment and Riddle and such, talking about like guys they've built up or been there for a while. Who's there right now besides Dijak and Brennan who really hasn't gotten the the shine that they need that they deserve?
Well, no, I don't. I'm not saying that it's that they've got an issue of people aren't getting the shine. I'm saying they're continuing to sign more and more people.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna keep making and not signing bullshitters, like if you're gonna keep signing people like Keith Lee and Matt Riddle and Chelsea Green and Io Shirai and
Yeah.
all of these big, huge names from the indie scene, if you're gonna keep making those signings, and I'm not saying they shouldn't do that because I mean, yeah, you want the best talent for sure, but if you're gonna keep doing that, you're gonna run into that problem
It's gonna be a
where
logjam, yeah.
yes, where we've got so
Sammy
many
Callahan's
people.
gonna happen.
Yes, where we've got so many people, or a juice. A juice is
Yeah.
going to happen, where like someone doesn't really get too much of a shine, so then they go, and then it's like, oh wait, well, this guy turned out to be a decent star, but we didn't have space for him at the time.
But Juice had the same problem Adam Rose had in this. I realize that they're a terrible comparison, but they had the same problem in that Juice had been there through all the FCW years, like um, Adam Rose, Leo Kruger, whatever name you want to go by, use him by, had been there forever. So they had already built an opinion of those guys.
You know who else had that problem that I think should consider going back because he currently works for that company we don't talk about? Eli Drake. He was an
Yeah,
FCW holdover, but
but
this character that he's developed now is way better.
well, that and Eli Drake had one issue and one issue only: Bill DeMott. Eli and Bill DeMott had beef, so that's why he was like, I can't do this no more. Now that Matt Bloom is there and Sarah Amato is there and Robbie Brookside and Sean and Canyon Seaman, who seems to be a good administrator
Yeah.
for the group.
Y'all bring back Eli Drake, y'all, because if nothing else, you know what's made for the main roster? That fucking segment, the facts of life with the dummy button.
Yeah.
Dummy, yeah, dummy, yeah. That
Can
is
you imagine?
made for Monday Night Raw.
Can you imagine a Miz TV / Facts of Life segment? That
Dude,
would be hilarious.
no, but can you just imagine him with a Daniel as his guest, and every time Daniel goes to talk, he just hits the dummy button. Dummy, yeah. Let me talk to you, dummy.
So basically, we're saying Triple H, we need you to save Eli Drake.
Yeah,
We
bring
need you
back
to
Eli Drake.
save Moose,
Yeah, save Moose
and save John Morrison.
and Rosemary.
Yeah, and I'm not saying because I don't like her. When I say save, I'm thinking like TNA does right by their women.
True. Okay. Okay. Respect. No, respect. You're right. They do
So she
right by
she's
their.
in a good spot
Yes.
where she is.
Yes.
There, by the way, again, God, you're making me say something good about TNA Impact Wrestling.
No,
Their
they
women's
do women's
roster-
wrestling.
They do it well, and the women's roster is stacked.
Tessa, Sue,
Jordan,
Rosemary, Jordan.
Kiera,
Yeah, like they
Scarlett
got a
Bordeaux, Taya Valkyrie,
yeah.
Allie.
They've got a women's roster,
Absolutely.
but they've
So she
always
might
had a
be
women's
okay.
roster. They've always had a women's
Yes.
roster.
Absolutely.
Back to Angelina Love and the beautiful people.
And Kong and Gail.
Yep,
Yeah,
and Gail Kim. Yep.
Yeah. ODB.
Yep. Yeah, that is one thing I will never take away from that company is they've always known how to put together a good, engaging women's division, and they know how to have women fight over like not
Real
petty
shit.
bullshit drama.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not who's the biggest bitch. It's let's have a real feud.
Yeah, I mean, Su
Um,
Yung and Rosemary are having some straight up Bray Wyatt and the Undertaker shit going on.
it's creepy as shit that I've read and seen, and it makes my head hurt when I actually try to read it because so convoluted. And the segment where Ali had to go find her in the realm, and Rosemary was waiting in the realm. And Kiera just happened to be there and safe. I'm confused.
We're all confused. We're all
That
confused.
that reminds me of the segment that Bully Ray had to take the whole show to explain how he made Aces and Eights work.
Yeah,
That is the funniest thing to me. That it took a
that was
2 hour
that
show
convoluted.
to explain why it worked.
It was because it was an explanation of booking on the fly. It was the entire show was basically so we started this angle and we didn't know what we were gonna do, but then we decided midway through, and so here are all the ways that I'm plugging the holes for you.
Now let me say this: I'm a Bully fan. I love the
Oh,
dude.
I like Bully.
He made that work because at the end of the show, you're like, oh, I can see it. He ma- the term
His
making
first
chicken salad
reign
out of
as the
chicken shit.
world champion was good. That was one of the last great things that
Excellent.
version of TNA did.
It was excellent. Yeah. I still remember Hogan's face when he turned.
Well,
Hogan
and that's when AJ turned like that dark character that actually got him
Sting.
signed to New Japan. Yeah, that's
Sting.
where he pulled a Sting.
Oh, by the way, Evil Ways, his theme song is still fire.
Yeah, no, they did some good things at that time. They really
They
did.
had good moments, yes. They had some good, but at the same time, Eric Young was one half of the women's tag champs. So
Yes,
we don't, yeah.
yes. But then Eric Young became a psychopath and later beat Bobby Roode for the world title.
No, this was that was after.
Yeah.
No, he went psychopath and won the world title, and then turned back normal and went back and married ODB and became Sideshow Bob again.
Oh, Eric Young. Hashtag don't fire Eric.
Don't fire Eric. No, the best Eric Young. We got to get out of here, y'all. We're just bullshitting now. My favorite Eric Young ism in TNA is when he was in Team Canada and the pyro would come out and he would be shocked by it every
Every
time.
time. Uh,
Hey, shout out to A1. When the last time anybody seen that dude?
APB.
I'm saying, hey, for those of you who think that I just hate TNA for no reason, you don't even know who A1 is.
They probably don't know who Amazing Red is either, but let's get out of here before we get that
Amazing Red.
before we go down that rabbit hole.
The Naturals. Okay, let's stop. Yeah. Elix Skipper and Triple X.
Yo, man, I miss that shit.
Like
AMW.
old TNA? Like
AMW.
Yes. Guilty? I'll go back and watch old TNA any day. Okay, yeah. Let's get out of here, man. So tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on Twitter at Dr. S'mores. You can also find me on a special edition of Keeping It Strong Style from not this week, but last week. We reviewed the Power Struggle, and it was a lot of fun.
Power Struggle was an excellent show. So that was a good show for you to be on.
Yeah, and shout out to Jeremy. Shout out to the young boy for asking me to fill in for him. And thanks for having me on, guys.
Hey, by the way, Jeremy, I got a little beef with you, bro. You build Kyle as the Golden Lover. He is one half
of the
of
Golden
Lovers.
Lovers. We are
Get that
a
right.
team.
Yes, get that right. There's no Coda without Kenny and no Kenny without Coda, okay?
That's okay. When Josh gave me a shout out for filling in this week, he referred to us as the SMC podcast. Still.
Motherfucker.
He corrected himself. But
That's hilarious. All right. Well, hey, those my guys. Love them anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, you can follow me at it's Ray Cash, REY as in Mysterio, CASH as in dollars. You can find our brother Karl
The
at
best
Outside
of us
Carbon.
on Twitter.
He's excellent on Twitter. He does the Twitter well.
Karl also would be upset if we didn't tell you to look out for his column. It'll be coming in 2020.
No, we're a little further now.
Oh, that's right, because
I
he's gonna campaign in 2020.
Yes. So he's gotta put that to the side. He gotta put his campaign to the side. So It'll be here about around 2022, 2023.
Uh,
Speaking of columns, your boy started writing again. I've dropped 2 columns and check them out. I have a little series start kind of going. And speaking of series, me and Rob Daniels are talking about Rob, shout out to the first fan. Rob, love you, brother. Are talking about doing a little small little mini pod each week talking about my columns. The columns are kind of how to business plan as columns. We're gonna call it the business plan. Um, WWE creating a legacy brand for part timers. How someone can compete with the WWE. How I would book the elite in WWE. How I would rebrand tag team wrestling in WWE. There's things like this. Yeah, man, I'm excited. I love writing them. I've gotten some good feedback. Check that out. Um, yes, you can follow the show at um, Outsiders Edge SS, of course. We're on Social Suplex, and we're on Chairshot Radio. And what do we do on Chairshot?
always use your head.
My man. You can catch us anywhere you find your podcasts. Before we give you the final line, I want to do some advertising. First and foremost, after Survivor Series, you're gonna be at home. You're gonna have watched an amazing show. You're either gonna be satisfied or shocked, one of the two. You ain't got shit to do. Holla at your boys at Chairshot Radio. Me and your boy Chris Platt. We are doing a live post show after Survivor Series. Live. You never know who might show up. Kyle might be there. Karl might be there. Greg DeMarco might be. You never know who's gonna show up, and we might take callers depending on what everything looks like. So check us out. We will keep advertising that. Also, next week, aside from your usual Outsiders Edge column, where we'll have our post show and talk about some real good stuff, we have a special show for you guys called The State of the WWE. This is debate season. We have had to deal with this fuckery we call politics in America and the midterm elections and all the bullshit that comes with that. So why not have a debate podcast in terms of that style? It'll be a mock debate. Your moderator will be not the one, the only Carl Irvin, the moderator and the guy running for office himself apparently. Uh, wink, wink. And your boy Rance, your boy Kyle, your boy Clive, and your boy Ricky will all be on there, and we will all have a respective brand, and we have to prove to you guys why we have the best brand.
And spoiler alert, I'm obviously going to win because SmackDown is definitely the best brand.
No, no, Ricky's won automatically because he's Ricky, but he has NXT.
Yeah, I know Ricky's going to win, but
Yeah.
I have to champion myself a little bit. I got to stand for myself.
I got the toughest draw, and I gave it to myself. I got Raw. So, yeah, very clearly Clive has 205. But, yeah, and we are going to open up a Twitter poll to you guys for you to tell us who do you think had the best debate and all that. We'll do some fun stuff with it. Speaking of that, Outsiders Edge, Ricky and Clive, and even Social Suplex in general have some really fun holiday themed stuff coming for you guys. Some gimmick shows, some canned shows, some real special stuff. So look out for us. We're trying to give you some nice stuff. We're trying to do some cool things for you, this, that, and the other. So we're working hard out here. Yeah, so just pay attention. Keep supporting. We appreciate you. But before we go,
Ladies and gentlemen, remember this week and every week on the Outsider's Edge that we're just some relatively young men out here doing the best we can to make a living each and every day. So if we said anything that you disagreed with, if we upset you, we hurt your feelings, or just made you feel some type of way, just remember that we're out here chasing our dreams, and you got to respect that. But if you don't, we don't give a fuck.
fuck 'em.
Thanks for listening. We'll see y'all next week.